Okay, so good morning and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Elsa. I'm the Senior Trail Officer at Israel Economy and Trade Mission in Taipei. I'm your moderator today. Thank you for joining Israel-Taiwan Water Emergency Response Policies and Experience Sharing webinar. It's our honor to invite water experts from Israel and Taiwan to share the water resilience experience in both countries. First, let me introduce our distinguished speakers for today. Mr. Danny Locker, the head of Emergency and Cybersecurity, Israel Water and Sewage Authority, and Mr. Yossi Yaacoby, Vice President of Engineering and Strategic Planning, MEKOROT. And our speaker from Taiwan, Ms. Chun-Ling Guo, Division Director of Water Resource Management, Water Resource Agency of Ministry of Economy of Taiwan. 经济部水利署水源资源组郭纯玲组长 ，Welcome them. To begin with, I would like to have Aviv Doron, Head of Israel Economy and Trade Mission in Taipei, to give us opening remarks. However, since Aviv is currently having training in Israel, so he prepares a recording for his remarks. So I'll play the recording for this opening. Can anybody hear?
Distinguished guests, dear partners from Israel and Taiwan, good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to today's webinar, dedicated to a theme that resonates deeply with both of our economies: building stronger, smarter, and more resilient water emergency response systems in an age of accelerating climate and infrastructure challenges. This focus, Israel-Taiwan Water Emergency Response Policies and Experience Sharing, is more than just a title. It reflects a shared commitment to safeguard our communities and ensure water security for the future. Israel's experience has shown that resilience is not born overnight. It is an outcome of decades of planning, innovation, and the ability to adapt in real time to droughts, cyber threats, and unexpected disruptions. Taiwan, likewise, has demonstrated impressive capabilities in rapid repair, disaster prevention strategies, management in the face of typhoons, earthquakes, and evolving geopolitical concerns. Today, this event brings these parallel journeys together, creating a unique platform where two advanced water ecosystems can learn from one another and explore joint solutions. Throughout the program, we will hear from Israel's Water Authority and MEKOROT about national emergency frameworks, real case studies, and cutting-edge solutions and technologies developed to enhance water resilience. We will also learn from Taiwan's Water Resources Agency about its disaster prevention systems, rapid response mechanisms, and the innovative methods used to ensure stable supply during extreme events. At the Israel Economic and Trade Mission in Taipei, we view this theme as a strategic opportunity to deepen bilateral cooperation, to exchange practical knowledge, and to encourage partnerships in water technology, infrastructure resilience, and emergency preparedness. Water security has become a global challenge, and solutions increasingly depend on international collaboration, not just expertise within borders. I would like to thank our partners at the Water Resources Agency of Taiwan, the Israel Water Authority, MEKOROT, and the Israel Export Institute for recognizing the importance of this theme and bringing together such an impressive group of experts. I wish all participants a meaningful and insightful session. May today's exchange inspire new cooperation models and strengthen the resilience of both Israel and Taiwan. Thank you. 谢谢大家.
So thank you. And sorry. So I would like to introduce Deputy Director, Mr. Huang Pu, Mr. Huang Hongpu. Yes, from Water Resource Agency, Ministry of Economy of Taiwan, to give us welcome remarks.
我们以色列的好朋友应该要说早安了哈。 那在台湾现在是下午的时间了啊，我能见到各位，还是非常高兴的。
副署长，您稍等一下，我逐句的翻译。
是。
Okay. Good morning for my friends in Israel, and this is I'm from Taiwan, and right now currently in Taiwan it's afternoon, and it's a great pleasure to meet you guys here. 请。
那当然我们还是要特别感谢台北以色列经济贸易办事处了啊，因为有他们的努力，我们今天才能来召开这个经验分享的线上的研讨会啊，确实是不大容易。
It is I'm very appreciated for the Israeli Economic and Trade Representative Office in Taipei for their effort to host and organize these precious opportunities here for everybody to gather together to share the experience. 副署长，请。
是，那今天我们也是非常重视这个今天的研讨会啊。所以我们也邀请了国内的主要的供水单位，还有我们行政院的单位一起来参加。那包括行政院的国土安全办公室，还有我们的台北自来水事业处、台水公司，还有我们连江跟西门的自来水厂，还有我们的经济部的国营司，当然。我们水利署的相关单位都列席来参与今天的研讨会。
Since we emphasize these important seminars, so we also invited several important attendees to join this seminar, including the main water supply institutions in Taiwan, and also the departments, several departments from the administrative yuan, and also from the Minister of the Economy. And they are all the key players in the water industries here. 副署长，请。
那事实上，我们在8月份就跟Aviv处长有一些讨论啊。那因为我们觉得台湾跟以色列有非常相似之处啊，在水资源的这些运用上面啊，那我们的外在环境也非常的相似，因为我们都有地缘政治的一些威胁。那台湾也有很多的天然灾害的威胁，所以近几年我们在整体的紧急应变、灾害应变跟紧急供水抢修，还有我们整个供水策略上，我们有很大的一些改进。那当然，我们也希望跟以色列这样跟我们很类似的国家，大家一起切磋相关的一些策略还有方法。
There are a lot of similarities in terms of water resources between Israel and Taiwan. Not only among them, some external factors are extremely similar. We have the same issues in terms of the geopolitical issues, and also we also face a lot of natural disasters and water issues. So in recent years, Taiwan dedicated a lot to do a lot of improvement in preparedness and also the contingency plan. So Israel seems to share the same factors or traits in terms of the water resources, and we would also like to share and learn from Israel.
今天我也请我们的主管全国水资源规划，还有这些紧急供水的重要的主管啊，我们的郭Chun-Ling郭组长，那会做一个简报啊，我想可以让大家更了解台湾整个策略跟方法这个紧急应变上面的一些想法跟方式啊。 那也希望大家给我们多多的指导，那让我们以后有更好的一个解决方案。那当然还是很高兴今天能够跟大家一起来讨论相关的一些事项。
Today, I also invited one of our colleagues who's in charge of the contingency plan and the preparedness in the emergency times, Ms. Guo, to draft about what we have been doing and what we plan to do in terms of the emergency situation. So we would like to hear from you, your opinion about us, and we can learn from each other.
那今天也感谢我们以色列专家一起来参与，也感谢国内的相关的单位的参与我想这是一个很好的平台，不能今天结束以后研讨会结束以后就表示就结束，而是应该是另外一个契机那我也邀请我们国外的这些专家以色列专家，如果有空，那可以到台湾来，我们可以更仔细的来谈论相关的一些事项。
This is a very wonderful platform for both experts from Israel and from Taiwan to join together, to join forces together. And then I hope that this is not just a simple seminar, and once it's finished, it's finished. I hope it's not. It should serve as a good opportunity for continuous cooperation. And then I also warmly invite our Israeli experts to, if you will have chance, to come to visit and come to Taiwan for more exchange opportunities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Director General Huang. Next, let's welcome our Israeli partner, Israel Expo Institute, Ms. Raphaële Moog, Head of Water Technology Sector, to give us a welcome remarks. Raphaële, please.
Hello, thank you, Elsa. I wanted to take this opportunity to thank our partners from the Economic and Trade Mission in organizing such an interesting session with us. And you are going to have the opportunity to listen to the main institutional players of the Israeli ecosystem. Of course, the Israeli Export Institute, in cooperation with the Trade and Economic Mission, can also, in the future, introduce you to interesting innovation in this field. And of course, I'm looking forward to hear also the presentation of Ms. Chun-Ling on the situation in Taiwan, and looking for interesting session. Thank you.
Thank you, Raphaële. So to begin with, I would like to have everyone except the speaker to mute during the speech. So now let's start the speech today. First, let's welcome Mr. Danny Lacker, Head of Emergency and Cybersecurity, Israel Water and Sewage Authority, to deliver his speech. Danny, please. Thank you.
Hi, good morning or good afternoon to you. It's a great honor participating in this webinar and meet my colleagues from Taiwan again. I hope you can see my presentation, and we'll make a short presentation. Few words about Israel water infrastructure, and then about the issues of emergency, cybersecurity, and kinds of solutions. So, of course, the water is the most crucial and essential product that we have to supply to consumers, and without supplying it, we don't have the ability not to supply it in any cases. In Israel, water supply, although we sit on the Mediterranean and have a lot of climate change issues, and we currently sit in a place which is declared as a desert area, water supply in Israel is very stabilized, and people in Israel are used to open tabs and get water as much as they want, 24 hours a day. Yet, as we said, climate change is a crucial issue all around the world, especially in our area in the Mediterranean. And we sit in an area that is declared for many years already as a desert. And of course, our assumption, it won't get better, just get worse. So Traditionally, Israel water system used to supply drinking and domestic needs water majorly from the Sea of Galilee, which is posted in the north of Israel, and nature intake to the water system. But the climate change affected very crucially, and we had a lot of challenges supplying water from the Sea of Galilee. You can see on the slides the difference that occurred after a few years. With the pump where they posted through the water, you can see the beach of the Sea of Galilee, how it changed during the years, and we have many challenges for those issues. So what we applied in Israel is mainly we changed the whole system of supplying water to domestic needs, and today we are using 80% in average of desalination plants that we applied in Israel. And most water that supplies to consumers come today from desalination plants, although we keep mainly for times of crisis and our ability to supply from different intakes, also the Sea of Galilee and underground water. So we have several water intakes that they can use in times of crisis. This is the sites of the desalination plants. We have today 6 major desalination plants, and more are coming and building during those days. And we even started to supply artificial water to the Sea of Galilee to refill it back and recharge it back. But the major consumer in Israel for water, I'm assuming in Taiwan as well, is agriculture. And in agriculture, we are using usually sewage recycled water. In Israel, we are recycling about 90% of sewage back to agriculture. That's the major intake to supply agriculture needs of water in Israel. And as I was saying, we are a very stabilized system, but we have many challenges. We have in Israel, in our area, of course, terror actions that we have to deal with. We recently have a large war that we had to deal with, and I'll show a picture from that war in a second. We under cyber attack on a daily basis, and I think that's a very crucial challenge, which is combining also Taiwan all around the world and Israel, of course. And of course, earthquake and tsunamis can be a challenge for both countries. So just few slides to see what we had in mind and had some events during the last war that we had in Israel. You can see that the water facilities was attacked by missiles, and we had several challenges supplying alternative water. I'm proud to say that we could succeed to fix the system and supply alternative water. But yet, as I was saying, one of the major challenges we have on a daily basis is what we call cybersecurity issues. I want to show you a short clip. I know that you won't be able to hear the voice. It's not that crucial, but see how we all depend and declined on the water and computers on a daily basis, although in water and sewage system. Let's watch that. So we don't have a solution to all issues using computers, but just to understand that most water facilities are operated today by computers and by machines. And recently, we had a large attack on our water systems. A cyber attack came from Iran, trying to challenge more than 100 facilities in Israel. Again, I won't show the clip because we don't have the ability to share the voice. But believe what I'm saying, we were attacked, but we succeed to prevent those attacks, and we have attacks of cybersecurity and hackers on a daily basis. So what we are trying to do is, of course, to put all kinds of solutions, automatic solutions and technological solutions, but part of the thing is also to educate people and educate employers. You can see I came to visit a friend of mine, and that's what I saw on the entrance of the door. saying that dear tenders, through numbers of break-ins, we changed the code. The code is now 1948. Please continue and have a wonderful day. But I can see it also on computers and water system from time to time. Small notes that tells the code is that number. It's very easy to operate it and complain it. So what we are doing to prevent those issues is, of course, securing all our water systems with all kinds of CCTV cameras and all kinds of systems. In MEKOROT specifically, as you will see, maybe Yossi will say it later, we have several online detection systems to detect the water quality on a daily basis, including very interesting technology using fish behavior to see what is the water shape and see that it's clear and be able to use it. We back up every water facility and every sewage facility with generators and diesel fuel for 10 days. We checked it during this war and also in times of crisis where we have bad weathers. And I think you have this challenge in Taiwan as well. When you don't have electricity, you have to operate the system with backup, and we're using a lot of generators and try other solutions, cheaper and more efficient than generators, but we have a backup to each water system. On the cybersecurity, we are operating today what we call a national SOC, Security Operations Center. All desalination plants, all water corporation, all sewage plants are detected today by Israel Water Authority in a facility that detects all the systems, making sure that they're not being attacked by cybersecurity or by hackers or by every country that try to attack the facilities through the transmission of the data. Here is how this looks on a daily basis, and it's operate 24/7. We, of course, sit in this SOC nearby other Israeli SOCs, like the electricity SOC, the governmental SOC, the energy SOC, the financial SOC, and therefore we can combine and see if there's one attack coming from the energy, for instance. It might even go to the water sector, so we can share knowledge and participate in the defense efforts to throw this challenge away. If we'll have a real crisis and we have to supply alternative water to consumers anywhere in Israel, we have a whole system how to supply alternative water. And here we implicated a low-tech solution that changed this kind of very complicated water tanks to supply alternative water. We're operating today new kinds of system, basically on plastic, which is folded. You can open it in a few minutes. You can carry it in a small vehicle, and you can create both a container for water and on the other side the water supply station, and operate it. It's all folded. It's all one-time use. You don't have to clean it and chlorinize it. And after you finish, you throw the bag, and you have a new solution. We have a whole system, and all water corporations in Israel are applying this system today. And we even have a solution to the end consumers that if they come to consume water from water supply station, they won't have to use dirty buckets or dirty tanks. They'll get a full clean water pouch in the water supply station and use it as an alternative water supply until we recover the system. We talked about generators. I want to say something about sewage disposal. In times of crisis, one of the great challenges is the sewage disposal. Imagine that you don't have in your toilets any water flowing, and eventually it can create all kinds of disease spreading. So we're applying another system that looks like this. In times of crisis, you can bring this solution on a small vehicle. You can operate it with an electricity pump, or if you don't have an electricity pump, you can use the car itself, the lighter of the car for the cigarettes. You can use it and open it. After a few minutes, it will come up. It has inside of it all kinds of garbage pans, and you will see what's make it so nice and efficient. In a few seconds, you have inside all kinds of seats, and of course, clean air is flowing into it all the time. You have those seats, and in times of crisis, you will take a second, you will see it. This bag, inside this bag, there's a chemical material that makes sure that urinate and other thing won't spread into the air. Even if the bag is turned, it won't happen anything. You just throw it to the garbage pan, and you have an alternative a toilet in few minutes solution. We have it all around. Israel has the ability to supply alternative water. We even did some delegation, human aid delegation in the past. I'll just show you this one because we don't have a lot of time. This occurs in the Philippines, 6,000 miles from Israel. There was a flood, a big flood that created those damages. The water supply stopped it over there because it was underground. It was salted from this storm. And what we did, we sent this abilities from Israel, a small desalination plants, and the system to supply alternative water. We sent it with an aircraft and with our team to the Bahamas Island, with our team. And you can see the clip again that you can see, You can see how the storm affected the island, how much damages, including the water system. There was no flowing water in the tabs. They got bottled water from the UN. And then we arrived with our abilities. We supply alternative water, desalinated water from the ocean. And you will see in a minute how we supply the potable water to the consumers. Here we teach the local people how to use the system. And eventually, we operated 18 water supply stations for more than a week. We left the equipment to the locals, and we helped them to recover those wells and systems. And we did, let's say, a real drill 6,000 miles from Israel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Danny, for your presentation. Please stay with us for Q&A session.
I will.
Okay.
I will
Next.
hear Yossi, my good friend.
So next, let's welcome Mr. Yossi Yaacoby, Vice President of Engineering and Strategic Planning from Israel National Water Company, MEKOROT. Yossi, please.
Good afternoon, and a pleasure to be with you. And the cooperation between Israel and Taiwan is very important to us. Will bring the presentation from your side?
Do you mind? Oh, okay. You want me to share from my side? Okay.
Yes.
Hold on. Okay, let me check. Okay, hold on. Okay. It's a presentation.
If it's not possible, Galia can do it. Could do it. Okay.
Can you see?
Yes.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
So next one, please.
This one?
Yes, this is the presentation. Yes. Okay. So we we are talking about MEKOROT. MEKOROT is the national water company of Israel, supplying water to almost 70% of the country. We are basically a transmission company. We are supplying water to the gates of the cities. Inside the city, there's other municipal water companies. So we are not doing the distribution, the last mile to the end user. In general, we are a group of companies. We are a group of companies. On the top, we have the parent company, MEKOROT, but we have two subsidiaries. One of them is EMS MEKOROT Projects, which is our laboratory company that doing all aspects of EPCs in the water arena. Starting from boreholes and drilling, then pumping station, pipes, all treatment plant, all monitorings, and of course all the command and control, communication, and cybersecurity is part of this company. We have other company which we call the MEKOROT Development and Enterprise. This company is acting basically as an arm of doing projects in Israel and abroad. They are operating two wastewater treatment plant and also two desalination plants in Cyprus. And they are going to grow in the coming years. We are very proud that we are, as a governmental company, investing in startups. We have 11, and I will touch it at the end of the presentation. We have 11 companies that we have invested in them in all aspects of water arena or sectors, and I will deal with it at the end of the presentation and presenting. Next slide, please. So a few information about MEKOROT. We are investing in green and brown projects every year, more than $400 million in order to be ready to the next challenges that Danny mentions in his presentation. Basically, we didn't say we are working in Israel in the way that we are, all of us are under the Minister of Energy. The Water Authority is the regulator, and we are working under the regulator, which is the Water Authority. And for example, if we are investing in new projects, it must get approved of the Water Authority, the approval of the Water Authority. This is the way that we are working. And we are working according to a 3 years plan. Every year, 400 million. We are a very stable company. We are a AAA company. The revenue mainly from selling water is $1.7 billion a year. We are a group of 200 employees. And in every second that we are speaking, while we are speaking, we are executing more than 100 projects all over Israel. Next, please. So, these are the numbers of our work, and we are very proud of it. It's part to be resilient is the way that you are working in your company, the way that it's supplying water to the citizens. It means that we have nowadays, we are coming to 15,000 kilometers of pipes. Again, we are not distributors. It's only transmission, and the pipes are from 6 inches to 108 inches. You can find regular cities that they have more pipes, more kilometers of pipes, but it's not the same thing. We are very proud in our 3,000 facilities all over Israel. So we are very spread all the country. We have 10 command and control center, and now we are working in a central control center that collect all the information. It means that during extreme situations, we can shut down all our 10 command control center and work from the central one in Tel Aviv. We are supplying, as I said, 70% of the total water in Israel. We have 43 desalination plants, 13 wastewater and purification facilities, and we are very proud that we integrate more than 600 million cubic meters of desalinated seawater. The desalinated seawater and the seashore of the Mediterranean, most of them are private concessions. We have 5 or 6 of the 9 days where we are going to grow to 9 and more. And we are speaking that next year, due to the very severe drought in Israel in the last 2 years, we are going to integrate more than 840 million cubic meter of desalinated water from the plants on the seashore. It's a huge challenge. If we are comparing it to the past, we were dealing with a little bit of surface water, groundwater from the coastal aquifer and the mountain aquifer, and desalinated water. But now we are dealing more and more with desalinated water, the artificial source that Danny mentioned in his presentation. And it's a big challenge because in few hours, we have to collect the water and deliver them. So it's a challenge in all aspects of monitoring the water, the quality, and what to do with surplus amount of water. It means also that we have to build more and more big pumping stations that they can convey water, more water in a certain time. It's much different than the system of the past. And now in this year, we are not going to supply 1.6 billion, we are going to supply 2 billion because we are a growing nation and there is a growing demand. And the percentage that we are growing every year is 1.8. Every year, 1.8, and it's a huge growth of the water supply in our system. Next one, please. So if you can see that Israel is changing, we were in the past, we're in, let's say, in the edge of the desert. Not anymore. We have years in a row that we do not have enough rain. We have a continuous reduction in the natural sources availability. We are conveying water outside of our borders and watersheds. And as I said, we have continuous population growth, that we have supplied more and more water. Next, please. So when we are talking about climate change, it is not just saying climate change. It is a real change. We have extreme heat waves. We can find nowadays more than 2 weeks in the summer that we have more than 40 degrees Celsius. Every day, 2 weeks. We can get a rainfall extreme events. That means that in the average, you can see that in the average we are getting the same amount of rainfall. But this is not the issue. The issue that when I was a child, we were getting it in 20 to 25 days a year. Nowadays you can get it in 5 days of heavy rain. It's a huge challenge. There is a sea level rise, not affecting yet, but in the coming 100 years, it might affect. As I said, we have the drought. So we showed the map in Israel. In the past, the desert area was in the south. Not anymore. Just this December, we are getting much more rain in central Israel and the south of Israel, and less in the wet side of Israel, which is the north. We are changing. We are going to get severe drought in the north, which was our wet side of the country. And of course, we have some wildfires in the spring and in the fall, and we are waiting for the next big earthquake. We are in the statistics. Every 100 years we have a big one. Now we are waiting to the next one. We don't know how much severe it will be, but Danny, doing all the Danny as the regulator that is responsibility for all the emergency, working with us in all aspects that we will be ready for the next earthquake. And we are doing it in our work plan. How to be prepared in all aspects, civil, communication, human resources, everything. Next one, please. So we can say that the climate event, nowadays we are putting an impact, and we're putting the red, yellow, and green light in order to understand how much it's severe. So, and we can count it, and we can be prepared for this according to our work plan. So if, for example, if we had last year a wildfire in Jerusalem Hills that burned more than 25,000 dunam, it's a severe event that affected on the water system, on the natural gas system, and of course the electricity one. And everything is connected. Everything is there because the natural gas is one of the sources of energy for water. The electricity is the grid that we are using in order to operate our system. And of course, our plant that supply waters. Next one, please. And again, we are doing all the needed and all the assumption in order to be ready to the next earthquake. And I will give you one example of the affection of these issues. February 2 years ago, 2023. It's a regular winter in Israel. The consumption is not big. This is the reason that in such a period we are doing a maintenance of our national carrier. It means that we couldn't get water from the Sea of Galilee. In regular days, there is no problem. We have other sources. But on the same day was an earthquake in Turkey and Syria, the north of Israel, and we have been affected. Some of our wells were out of order. So we lost another source of water. On the same day was a storm, it's a winter, in the sea. And some of the desalination plants couldn't collect the water because of high turbidity. So we were bound, 3 of them were shut down, and we were bound on 2 of them. If the other 2 of them didn't work, we couldn't supply water to the citizens. I'm saying that this is the reason that in Israel, we are working with several sources of water. This is our strength. We are using the groundwater, the surface water, the desalinated water, and of course, the reclaimed water, as Danny said, that we are claiming more than 95% of the wastewater. This is our strength. And nowadays, whenever we are going everywhere in the world, even in the most developing countries, they are asking what they should do in order to be ready to supply from several sources also. Because most of the world is supplying from 1 source, maximum 2 sources. Next one. Next one, please. I was talking about it. So, as we said, we have to be ready for the change in Israel, the climate changes. It means declining of precipitation, less and less rain that we can accumulate. Most of the rain is nowadays getting as a runoff to the sea because the extreme days of rainfall. There is an increasing in demand in Israel and our neighbors. We still supplying to Gaza Strip. We still supply to Jordan, and we are going to increase the supply of Jordan. And hopefully, we will supply also to Syria in the coming years. We have to be ready for it. In all aspects of engineering technology, there is no barrier. It's feasible. It is feasible. We have it just according to a agreement between nations. It's between politicians. In all aspects of supplying the ability, the water authority and MEKOROT can do it. And of course, extreme weather threats. Next one, please. And we do it all the things according to other risk management. and we are putting the emerging risks that we are doing it in our map of risks, and we are following them according to if it's happened, when it's going to happen, and what will be the effects on our system. Next one, please. And again, I was speaking about it, but you should see it. Our success depends on what you can see in these slides. The sources of water, not only surface water or groundwater or seawater desalination or reclaimed water, all together as one system. This is our main reason for success. Without these 4 water sources, we couldn't supply water 24/7. Next one. So nowadays we have a dashboard that we are deploying a digital model in order to put a risk identification on every plant of MEKOROT according to the place in Israel. How much will be affected from wildfire, earthquake, rising temperatures, or floods. And we have a heat map that we are controlling according to this model. Next one. And again, with our friends from the Water Authority, we have emergencies preparation program. We have protocols. We're doing various water courses and backup system enable training. We have proactive planning and strategic investments in all aspects of emergency. And of course, we are using heavily technology to support us. Next. So this is some kind of wrap up of all our future risk and ongoing preparations. It means that as we are using heavily, as I said, desalination, we still need groundwater and wells. So we are going to invest a lot in new well and preserving groundwater wells, existing ones. Of course, we are going to build huge amount of reservoirs. I said we are getting more and more water in a certain time. We have to put the water battery. The water battery are reservoirs. And when we are going to build more and more reservoirs, and we are going to multiply the amount of cubic meter that we are going to store in the next 10 years. We are connecting with our friend of the Water Authority. Nowadays, we are working very close in connecting all the isolated region of Israel to the national grid. Of course, we were going to manage a surplus amount of desalination. Danny mentioned the opposite and the way that we are going to use excess amount of desalinated water to the Sea of Galilee. This is the unique project all over the world, that you're taking artificial water and you are enriching natural water, surface water. So we will have surplus amount of desalinated water in certain time of the year. During the winter, sometime of the spring, and we will use it in order to enrich the Sea of Galilee. Water quality challenges, as Danny said, all aspects of monitoring, the fish test and all the monitoring online and lab tests is being doing. We have emerging contaminants, and we have to be careful with them. We do not have a big issues like other places in the world of PFAS, because most of our water is desalinated, not. But still, whenever we have some kind of PFAS, we will treat it. We have nowadays 6 wells that we are going to build plant in order to treat PFAS. And of course, all aspects of magnesium, because we are exposing the citizen to desalinated water. So nowadays we are adding calcium, but we had to add also magnesium. It's an issue between the Ministry of Health and the Water Authority. It's not an engineering issue. We can do it easily, but it costs. And of course, we are doing recycling the recycling of wastewater, but we have to build the national recycled water convenience in order not losing water, which is very important to agriculture. More than 55% of the water to agriculture come from recycled water, so we have to treat it in the most efficient way. And of course, the AI era in the water management, we are putting in place all AI issues. You will see it all in our innovation system. So it's very important. Next one. Just a flavor in our investment in early stage companies. So what we are doing basically, we are putting in place only companies that can provide value to MEKOROT and companies that we can implement at the end of the day their solutions. Few examples, and I will wrap up. CQM Water. It's a local company that provides on-site chlorination system. It means that I don't have to convey hypochlorite with trucks all over Israel. And I'm reducing all aspects of CO2 emissions, but also I'm independent in the way that the supply of water from a certain wells. For example, we have a well in the north. We have the diesel generator that can work without electricity when there's a cutoff in the electricity grid. And if we are putting the CQM solution, we can also supply safely with hypochlorite. So we are isolated wells, and we have more than 400 wells so that we are doing it now in Israel. IXDEN is a cybersecurity company that we are implementing our system that in the OT system, in all the command and control system that can bring us values of all anomalies in the way that we are working. Aquatis is predictive maintenance company. We are putting their sensors on our motors and get early warning of a failure. And we can be prepared and take care of any failure at the beginning, not when we have a burst or break at the end of the day that it's too late. Rapida, inspections of all our cement infrastructure. We are getting all the early warning about cracks and everything, and etc. in all aspects of AI, monitoring, water monitoring, and everything. And we can share it with you, and we can work together. Now most of the companies are going abroad, and would like to get attention from our other countries. Next one, I think it was the last one. Thank you. And if you have any questions, I'm here. Sorry that I took more than expected time that it was in the beginning. Sorry.
Okay, thank you, Yossi. And let me stop sharing. Okay, so next, let's welcome Ms. Chun-Ling Guo, Division Director of Water Resource Management, Water Resource Agency of Ministry of Economy of Taiwan. 我们欢迎经济部水利署水源经营组组长郭纯玲 to deliver her speech. 组长，请。
你说完了。声音关了。
这个好像不是简报。
等一下。这个哦，这张稍等一下啊，OK。那个档案等一下。档案
需要我从这边 share 吗？还是？
哦，好啊，那你那边 share 好了。
好，我去看看。哎，我先把它打开，等一下啊。
对吗？
一下。 这样有看到吗？
有。
好 ，OK。
Okay. Good morning and good afternoon to our distinguished guests from Israel and Taiwan. I'm Chun-Ling, Division Director of Water Resources Management Division at Taiwan's Water Resources Agency. It's an honor to present the agency today to share our topic, building a resilient water supply preparedness and emergency response in Taiwan. I will be discussing how we ensure a stable water supply for the public during periods of climate change and unexpected emergency events. Over the next 15 minutes, I will cover three main topics. First, I will briefly outline the characteristics of water use in Taiwan, and then discuss the supply challenges and the strategies we are currently facing. The second part will introduce our contingency measures and response during unexpected emergency events. Finally, I will use two recent real-world case studies involving emergency water reallocation and repair work to illustrate our response and recovery efforts during actual disasters. Next page. The next one. Okay. Let me start with an overview of Taiwan's water resources. Taiwan receives about 88 billion tons of rainfall each year, but its timing and location are highly uneven. Our rivers are short and steep, so the amount of water we can actually use is limited. That's why we treat every drop as a pressure sources. As shown in the picture, most of our supply comes from river intakes, 43%, reservoir 24%, and groundwater 33%. In recent years, we've also introduced desalination and reclaimed water. Although they make up only a small share, they are crucial during severe droughts. Next page. We have discussed Taiwan's water resources limitations, and we would like to introduce strategies to stabilize the water supply. We have expanded our water resilience since 2017 through diverse water supply, cross-regional allocation, desalination, reclaimed water, and stronger management. These efforts added 2.37 million tons per day, about 20% of total demand, raising backup capacity to 48%. By 2031, we will add another 1.33 million tons per day, and for about 60% backup capacity. This ensures our system stays resilient during common disasters and build a solid base for responding to unexpected emergency events. Next page. Let's take a closer look at common disasters and unexpected emergency events. According to the 2025 Global Research Report, climate change, armed conflicts, and cybersecurity threats are all identified as high-risk issues in near term. Almost all of these risks directly or indirectly affect water resources and water supply security, and this is especially true for Taiwan. Therefore, Taiwan's water supply resilience must address both common disasters and unexpected emergency events, and we need to plan and prepare for them well in advance. Next page. Now, on the subject of unexpected emergency event, we are preparing for war readiness. Next page. In a wartime situation, the water supply system might suffer serious damage. It is crucial to re-evaluate demand and supply, create scenarios and adaptive strategies to keep water accessible. In our overall planning, we divide potential situations into 4 phases: pre-war, confrontation, wartime, and post-war. We also analyze 7 scenarios, including cyber attacks, blockades, partial or full system damage, civil service water contamination, and post-war recovery. For each scenario, we outline clear response measures for domestic water use so that every agency knows exactly how to act at each stage. Next page. It is important for us to estimate our basic water requirement during wartime. The Water Resources Agency's main goal is to supply water for household, medical, and national defense needs. This minimum requirement, our baseline, provide the guidance for our backup water planning and resources allocation. Next page. To safeguard this baseline, we first check our available water resources. Groundwater wells are our main backup. They are harder to destroy, widely distributed, and stable in quality. We set 2 priority objectives. Priority 1 for medical use. Wells near hospitals are given as a top priority for medical use. If that is still not enough, we use drought-resistant water wells and wells from school and government agencies. If still in shortage, we use nearby industrial and or agricultural wells. Priority 2 is for public livelihood and national defense. We use government and private wells first, then agricultural wells if needed. If all sources still cannot meet the demand, we may first drill new wells. Second, set up mobile desalination unit. Third, strengthen lake or reservoir pumping in offshore islands. Next page. Secondly, on the equipment side, we conducted annual inventories in coordination with local governments to identify available resources such as pumps, generator, water trunk, water tank, fire hydrant, and repair contractors. These records are regularly updated and verified through official procedures, ensuring that such equipment can be mobilized quickly and efficiently in times for disasters. Next page. Finally, in order to integrate the information on water resources and the equipment, we have established the emergency water management systems, short for EWMS. It puts all water resources and the equipment information into one database and shows it on a GIS map. This helps the central and local governments make quick decisions. Through government internal communication, allows us to maintain essential water supply through measures such as fixed point water extraction, mobile water transport, and temporary water distribution sites. Next page. Based on the EWMS framework, we also plan for household and community preparedness. Besides, we know exactly what we have. It is equally important to know how to supply at different stages. Therefore, we divide our response into 3 phases. Phase 1, pre-work. For example, start prepare materials, check water resources, and encourage households to prepare emergency kits. Phase 2, confrontation. For example, increasing inspections and pre-deployed pumps and repair supplies to reduce downtime. Phase 3, wartime. For example, mobilize cross-regional allocation, set up supply stations, use groundwater and water trunks around support areas without pipelines. The goal is to maintain basic daily water needs, even in the worst situation. Next page. Next, I would like to illustrate our real-world experience in emergency response and recovery through 2 recent natural disasters, Typhoon Kaimi and the Hualien earthquake last year. These 2 incidents served as critical tests of our resilience, demonstrating how our planning for stable water supply and emergency response can be put into practice under realistic and challenging scenarios. Typhoon Kaimi struck Taiwan at midnight, bringing heavy rain and winds. The storm caused widespread power outages and road disruptions. And more critically, it severely affected our water resources by raising turbidity in raw water, so we can't use the water directly. To solve this problem, we immediately activated backup wells and mobilized cross-regional support. In areas where serves are interrupted, the water trunks and the temporary station were deployed to ensure continued acceptable to drinking water. During the recovery phase, we quickly realigned supply zones and conducted urgent repair. As a result of these measures, full water surface was restored within approximately 46 hours. This case highlights the critical importance of backup water resources and regional dispatch in ensure a resilient water supply system. Next page. Last April, magnitude 7.2 earthquake struck Hualien, severely damaging pipelines and booster facilities. Over 122,000 households lost water, while monitoring and communication were disrupted. We mobilized a cross-regional dispatch to secure basic water supply, establish temporary water stations and water trunks to ensure that hospitals and shelters receive reliable service. For recovery and emergency repairs, repair teams work diligently to replace damaged pipe and restore valves. At the same time, inspections were intensified, and a program was launched to upgrade aging pipelines with earthquake-resistant materials. Full water service was restored within approximately 86 hours. This case shows that both rapid emergency repairs and post-disaster system reinforcement are important to water supply resilience. Thank you for your attention today. We look forward to further cooperation between Taiwan and Israel in water management, disaster response, and resilience buildings. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Ms. Guo. Thank you for all our speakers' insightful information today. Now let's move to our Q&A session. In this session, we have Chinese and English translator, Ms. Zhang, to assist us with translation. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand or click the raise hand button so I will name on you to speak. Welcome for any questions, please. 如果有任何问题，可以按那个手势，那或者是您直接开麦克风也可以这样子。那我们会有一个翻译老师协助我们翻译。那不知道大家有没有什么问题，或者是我刚刚看到I just saw that on Ms. Guo's presentation there are a few questions, so maybe we can first to have those questions. Ms. Zhang, would you like to translate the first questions to our speakers, please?
Okay. Yeah. So I saw actually yes.
Yes.
Excuse me. This greetings from Taiwan. Elsa， 不好意思，我们这边长官想要问，那我们方不方便先用中文提问，然后再那个
可以直接好，麻烦。
好，我直接用麦克风这样讲，听得到声音吗？
听得不是很清楚，很模糊。
稍等我们一下哦，谢谢。
So please wait a minute. We have questions from Water Resource Agency.
所以直接这样讲。
你好，this is Gloria Ling from the Water Resources Agency. I have two questions for Mr. Danny. And the first question is that, is there any responsibility that the civilians need to take during the water shortage or during the wartime? That is my first question. And my second question is that, during the wartime, how do you deal with the water quality issue? What if the water treatment plants fail? How do you make sure the water quality can reach the potable standard? That's my two questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great questions. I'll start with the first one, of course, about the responsibility of consumers to themselves and to their families. I'll divide it to two issues. On a daily basis, what we want from consumers to make sure that Israel can supply its all needs is to save water, not to use water inefficiently, meaning that we are trying, even through schools and so on, make sure that people won't leave taps open, won't wash their cars with pipes and so on. And we want them to do another thing, which is aimed especially to times of crisis. We're demanding from each consumer in Israel to save in his house few bottles of water for the first hours of a crisis. That we will have a short period of time to come, analyze the crisis, supply alternative water as I demonstrated in the presentation, and of course recover the system. So our goal is that each consumer in Israel will hold few bottles of water. It could be mineral water, it could be water that he refill on a daily basis. Of course, in shelters and public places, we even demand more. To say that we succeed on 100%, it won't be correct. In some places, we succeed better. In some places, we don't succeed. But we all the time put it on the table and publish to consumers. You have to hold amount of water to times of crisis. which is very crucial. To the other question, I have something with my, just a second, with my screen. Nothing because of you. Never mind, I'll keep on talking. The other thing is you asked me about was how we make sure that the water quality is fine in times of crisis, even if we have setups in the system. So first of all, we have an online detection system, as I mentioned, as Mr. Yaacoby mentioned. So each entrance to a water corporation or municipal utility has an online detection system that makes sure that the water inside the municipal utility is in great quality. And of course, it automatically, you get it an online system. Also, we apply more and more in water corporation those systems. But what can occur in those crises? We have an alternative. As Mr. Yaacoby said, we have more than one intake to each water corporation or each municipal utility. So if you have a contamination in a well or in the entrance that comes from the desalination plant or the Sea of Galilee, we have an alternative. Even inside the water corporation, we can have divided the chances. And of course, if you have a real crisis, as I mentioned, we'll have to recover it. It could take a few days even in some places, but then we have to supply alternative water until we recover the system. I hope I answered your questions.
Thank you.
Elsa 这边需要翻译吗？
我们这边水利署这边需要翻译吗？反正需要，好，
请帮我
翻译一下。
们翻译，谢谢。
OK， 好，那我们那个老师问到的2个问题，一个就是在紧急的时候，我们市民百姓的话呢，应该承担些什么样的这个工作哈？在以色列这个地方的话呢，他们其实最主要的还是就是要求民众要节水，那些不必要的这些用途的话呢，就暂时先不要使用哈。譬如说像是洗车啊，或者说是那个草坪的那些浇灌的这些水的话，就暂时停下来。然后像一些公共场所地方的那些水龙头，当然家里头的水龙头也是注意，就是不要有那种开着没关的那种情况，就是随时要注意哈。那这个第二个的话呢，就是那个在家里头的话呢，就是要存放一些水哈，不管你是那个水龙头的水，或者说是矿泉水等等，就是要储备个几瓶哈。这个数量的话他没有讲哈，这就是要储备一些用水。那多少那个它其实最主要就是要应付在事件一开始发生的头几个小时的这一段时间之内的这个使用。那它其实这几个小时的话呢，最主要就是譬如说它必须要去评估一下紧急状况的这个程度到什么样的地方，然后再来的话呢，就是他们需要去做这个重新恢复供水的这些工作，这是需要时间的。所以家里的储备水的话，是为了应付这头几个小时的时间来使用。那这头几个小时过了之后的话呢，他们如果还没有办法恢复的话呢，后备用的这些紧急的供水的话就会跟上来哈。那所以其实最主要的2个工作，一个就是节水，一个的话呢就是那个储水哈，这是民众必须要负担的工作。那第2个问题的话，就是如何在紧急的情况之下的话，确保我们供水的这个水质。它其实最主要的工作还是靠检测。好，在每一个那个水源处的话呢，他们都会有线上的实时的一个这个检测的这个工作。然后再来还有就是像是刚才那个 Yossi 第2个讲者他所提到的，就是他们以色列有众多的水源哈。那这跟我们台湾的话也是有类似的，只是台湾在以色列在这个地方的话，它是比较平均的哈，不管是它是那个回收水在利用的，或者是说淡化水，或者说是加利利湖来的水哈，然后或者说是那个地下水，他们是全部都汇集到同一个系统当中去。所以如果今天哪一个系统荡下来没办法用的话呢，其他的这个水源的水的话就会跟着补上来，因为它其实整个系统都是连贯在一起的，所以它不会说哪一个地方是断掉。其实以色列还有就是最主要2个地方是没有跟国家水网结合在一起的，那可是其他跟水网结合在一起的地方，所有的水源它全部都是汇聚到一起，然后统一的调配了水质之后才发送这个在这个分配到其他所需要的这个地方去，所以它一个地方断的话呢，另外一个地方就会紧急的就会跟上来了。好，是这样子的。OK.
Okay, thank you. So do you have other question? We still have 10 minutes. So
excuse me. We are Water Resource Agency from Taipei. We have another question to ask.
Okay.
你好，那个我这边有2个问题，我用中文发问。
一个是说，以色列那边在战时的时候，它的供水机制，是，用水目的不同的话，它会用怎样的优先顺序跟怎样的供水方式？例如说，他们还是以管线供水为主，还是说，当发生状况的时候，他们用水车来调度？那是以救济站为优先，或者说以国防为优先？这个供水机制他们有没有一个优先顺序？然后第二个问题是说，刚刚有提到水质的问题，那在战时的时候，他们水质的标准是不是会因为发生这个状况，所以它的水质的标准会有所不一样，会比较降低这样？以上两个问题。
Okay, so gentlemen, we have two questions. The first one is regarding the water supply. During the emergency time, let's say war, during the wartime, what is the priorities for water supply? Like the household first, or the military use first, or the agriculture, etc. Second, how would you supply the water? By water tank or by pipeline, etc.? This is the first question. The second question is still regarding the water quality. During the wartime, let's say this extreme example, is there any reduction or downgrade in the water supply quality, in supply? Because all these are emergency, so that's the natural thinking, but is there so? Okay. So who would like to answer the question?
I will start and Yossi can continue, especially on the second question. For the first question, first of all, we didn't have in this war, in last wars, we didn't have to decide on lines of, let's say, who to supply water to and who not to supply water to. We didn't have to discuss. We could supply to all consumers. Of course, first grade and the first on the list will always be supply water to end consumers and the houses, drinking water and domestic needs water. The military have its own ability, although this times we did help and aid the water to the military, especially when they got abroad to the Gaza Bank. We helped them supply water to themselves. We always prefer to supply water with pipes and systems, but it's not always possible. And if you recall my presentation, we supply in alternative tanks, and we have all kinds of abilities, folded abilities, and so on to supply alternative water. We didn't have any challenge that we didn't have flowing water this kind of war more than few hours. We could recover, as you saw in my presentation, if we had a missile or a rocket that hit water facility, we recover it or find an alternative solution in a few hours. Regarding the quality of the water, again, we detect all the time the system, and we have in advance all kinds of teams that are prepared to come and create alternative solutions and purify water that contained during times of war, of course, and also on a daily basis. We operated in very small cases because our protection on the facilities and our ability and our, let's say, opportunities to supply water from different sources didn't create us a great challenge. We had many kinds of solutions. Yossi, would like to add for that, I'll be glad.
Yes, I will add to the questions. First of all, the first question, as Mr. Laka said, we didn't have fortunately, we didn't have the opportunity to challenge ourselves in the way that we are supplying water. Most of our supplying sources were working continuously 24/7, even in a war period. But if we had to choose what to do, we had a protocol how much to supply to each of the citizens. First of all, we will shut down all agriculture connection, not the living animals, of course, but we shut down all the agricultures and we put in favor all the household and military, of course, and all aspects of hospitals and others. Secondly, if we have to reduce another level of reduction, we will supply certain amount to the citizen. We have the most severe one that we will supply some amount of 20-25 to each citizen. So we have a protocol of severeness, and accordingly we are supplying the water. Thanks God, we didn't need it in this way. We were supplying continuously all the amount that needed. With all aspects of the quality, we didn't face any problem with quality, but we reduced dramatically the sampling of water because we didn't want to send our employees to the site when we are getting missiles, and they might be affected. Because our first priority is our employees. They have to be safe. So if they do not need to send them in order to do samples, we are doing emergency samples only. I didn't mention, but it was in the slides. We have 6 laboratories, and our backups is the labs of the Ministry of Health, and we have some private laboratories also. So we have some backups in all aspects of laboratories in Israel. What we needed, there is no issue of quality. We reduced the amount of samples. In some cases, we raised the level of chlorination in our system. It means instead of 0.2, 0.5 ppm of free chlorine in the system, we did it as 1 ppm, just to be on the safe side, not because it was needed.
OK. 那我们2位专家他们就
I would like to add one more point, please. I would like to add one more point, which is very crucial. On a daily basis, we do drills in each water corporations, and consumers are participating in those drills, especially kids and youngsters from schools, meaning that educating their parents that in times of crisis, they cannot, let's say, do a bath or clean the car or even put water for the grass. They have to save water in times of crisis. So youngsters are educating their parents, even in times of crisis, when we do a lot of drills on those issues.
OK， 那我先就是我们2位以色列专家，他就是就我们后头的这2个问题也做了这个回答哈。然后第一个的话呢，就是那个他有没有什么样的那个供水的优先顺序，还有它的那个供水的方式如何哈？在以色列的话呢，它其实就是那个还是以百姓优先哈，就是民生用水的话是优先的。然后那军用的部分的话呢，它其实是有自己的这些自己的取水供水的这个方式。一般来讲的话呢，我们水公司这个地方是不太管他们的哈。但是它如果有需要的话呢，水公司还是会帮上一把。譬如说像我们这次的这个战争，它在加萨地区的话呢，它其实是整个就是条件不是特别的好哈。那所以在他们连我们的这个士兵都有那个用水上的这个问题的时候的话，那水公司的话这个地方哈就会搭手相救。然后再来的话呢，就是主要的用供水方式的话呢，还是以管线为主哈。那虽然说你在我们第一个讲者Danny他的那个 PPT 上头的话，你看到好像有供水车，还有一些那个水罐哈，那些大的那个储水箱的那样的一个照片哈，的确是有用那些，这是历史的照片哈。但是它那些的话，因为它在那个储存上头，还有它在那个清洁维护上头的话呢，是有一些问题的，所以他们后头的话呢，比较是废弃不用。然后最主要的话呢，全部都是用管线哈。那你可能会觉得会怀疑说，那在战争的时候，那这些管线的话呢，这些基础设施不是会受到破坏吗？哈，但是因为实际上的话，以色列它在这个地方还有其他的一些防护的措施哈，就是从国防部这个地方过来的防护措施，所以基本上来讲的话呢，我们即使是这次的战争的话呢，也没有受到太大的这个伤害，所以基本上的话呢，他们供水是完全没有中断哈。我在以色列18年的话，从来没有停水过的这样的一个情况。然后再来的话呢，就是在Danny 另外第2个讲者的话，他后头也补充哈，事实上他们在用供水上紧急状况之下的话呢，供水他们是有自己的一套方案，譬如说他在按照这个事件严重的这个程度，他如果说今天第一个要断的话，就是农业供水。然后农业供水当中的话呢，畜牧业是不断的哈，因为毕竟它是活体牲口哈，所以它不会断它的这个水哈。但是其他的栽种的种植的部分的话是会先断的。然后再来的话呢，就是它最主要的目的还是要确保民生供水它不会中断哈。然后那其他的部分的话呢，就是 它如果按照事件的这个严重的程序的话，它有那个民生用水的话，可能会受到影响的话，就是用配额的方式来供给。那他每一个人每一天可以拿到多少水，他们也都有自己制定的一套这个方案哈，就是按事件严重的这个情况的话呢，来做调配。然后再来的话呢，如何确保水质的部分的话呢，就是他在前面他那个第二个讲者他的有一页的这个图当中的话，他有提到说他们水公司的话呢有6座的这自己有的这个实验室哈，就他们平常的话呢是24小时不断的线上在做监测的。然后那在那如果说真的紧急的状况之下，他6个实验室他没办法用的话呢，他有后备的一个其他特约的一些实验室来帮他做水质的这个检测。然后再来就是他如果说真的会影响到水，不是真正影响到水质哈，水质整个譬如说什么浊度啊、总固体物含量这些标准的话，它是不会变的哈。唯一会影响到的，应该说唯二会影响到的地方，就是第一个就是紧急采样的这个频率，因为他必须要送他的员工到那些水点哈去取样哈，这个情况的话它会减少下来，因为毕竟我们这个地方飞弹满天飞的时候的话，你也不希望员工的话会受到什么样的生命的伤害。第二部分的话呢，就是它会调整氯的含量。它本来的氯的含量的话呢，可能是0.2到0.5的 ppm 的这样的一个情况哈，在紧急状况之下，它有可能会抬升到1个 ppm 哈，这个是为了安全起见哈。它如果说没有办法做些什么样的这个处置的话呢，它只好先调整这个消毒的这个工作哈，这是它可能影响到的这个2个地方，然后再来。后来那个第一个讲者当尼他又补充了我们前面一个问题，说市民他们要担负什么样的责任哈？他就是他补充一点，就是他们会做很多的紧急演习，尤其是针对学校哈、年轻的小孩子等等哈来做演习，你怎么样去这个节水省水哈？因为小孩子他们在学校里有学的东西，他们回去会跟妈妈讲、爸爸讲，所以他们教育了小孩子，回去也顺便就教育了自己的家长哈，就重新再教育一次哈，所以这是他们会常常做的一个演习的这个工作哈。以上他们回答好到这个地方，谢谢。
Okay, thank you. So let's have the last question from Taiwan Water Corporation. Is also the Taiwan National Water Company.
Good afternoon. I'm Chun-Ling from the Taiwan Water Corporation. I have 4 questions. The first 2 questions is regarding about the general condition, and the last 2 questions is regarding the wartime condition. So my first question is regarding the increasing the water operation cost. How can water company in Israel to balance the water tariff and water cost? And the second is some experts have applied AI technology for water management. So I'm very curious about what kind of the AI technology you used for what purpose of the water management. The last 2 questions during the wartime, and during the wartime, is there any financial support from the government that can provide some financial assistance for a water company to maintain the water system for a normal for the operation, and then to provide a steady water for the people? And the second is what is the supplying standard or criteria for the emergency operation center like 救济站, and what is the criteria that water company can provide for like case of the emergency used during the wartime? Thank you.
Okay, maybe Yossi can help us to answer those questions. Thank you.
Okay, the first one is the tariff. The tariff in Israel has 2 layers of tariff, for the household has 2 layers or 2 tiers. One of them is somewhere around $3 point something, and the other one, when you have big consumptions, it's more close to $5. And this covers totally the cost of the water sector in Israel. We have no external subsidy, we have internal subsidy in the water sector. It means that the tariff is covering all the cost of the water companies, water infrastructures, if it's MEKOROT or other suppliers, the municipal one or other associations. Inside the water sector, there is a subsidy between household and agriculture, of course. The household are subsidizing the agriculture. The tariff of agriculture is less, much less than the household. This is the way that we are working. By the way, the tariff is being done by the water authority, and we are obeyed. We have no reflection. We are not able to change the tariff, and we are working it according to the tariff. And there is, by the way, one tariff to all the countries. We are not differentiate between the south, north, the mountains, or the coastal one. Even it costs less in the coastal, of course, and much higher in the mountain. The tariff is the same everywhere in Israel. We are not changing it. We are not talking about ourselves. 2 tiers according to the consumptions, but we are doing it continuously without any problem. So when you're asking about covering, we have to, together with the water authority, put criteria and be prepared to any war in advance. We cannot come during the war and ask the government give us money. It will not work, because if we are not prepared with physical protection of our infrastructure, with all aspects of emergency preparedness, you cannot start being ready, not working during the war. During the war, it's too late. And so the tariff, we are trying to work with the water authority that the tariff will cover all our expenses to be ready to any emergency situation. For example, we are working with Mr. Lacker and his team in different aspects that we need to be ready for emergency. We are putting our proposals with the budget, and they are considering it according to the way that they can put the right money without raising the tariff. This is the way of working. With all regards, so I answered also the third questions also. With regard to the AI, AI is here and is going to stay. We started working. In order to work with the AI, you need a good and accurate data, historical data. Without good and historical data, you cannot operate right or AI systems. So some of our startups, some of our supplier and solutions are coming with AI. The AI help us to work better. The AI help us to provide better service to our customers. The AI help us to find anomaly. AI help us to reduce cost in investment everywhere. But if we do not have the right and high quality data, we could not operate it in the right way. And in some cases, we do not have enough good historical data. So it will be wasteful. Other thing that AI is changing our way of working is what will be our human resources way in the coming years. Some of our occupation will not be important anymore, and we will have to change. And some new occupation and engineering and technology skill will have to be in place. So we are working in all aspects. First of all, the way that we are supplying water and water quality, of course, anomaly and others. But on the other hand, not less important, changing the way that we are operating our firm. It means, as I said, some of our employees will not be relevant anymore, and some of them we have to take new and advanced occupations.
Okay. Danny, do you want to elaborate something?
Yes, I will add a few sentences. I think Yossi gave a perfect answer, but I will add that first of all, the major thing that we put also in the water rate and the tariff is a small amount that each water corporation and in each municipal utility has to spend only on preparedness to times of crisis, only for security, emergency, and cybersecurity. And we have all of checks and backups and drills that make sure that they are operating this money to the right place and make good preparation. The other thing, as Yossi said, beside the abilities of MEKOROT with AI, we are operating in all water corporation today a system that in times of crisis we can see and share the knowledge that we get from all water corporation on how they're using the water quality, what intake do they use, and of course, as I mentioned before, also cybersecurity, SOC, that make us see the whole picture of what's going on. And I didn't quite get the last question, if you can repeat that.
Okay, so later. I will translate your guys' answers first, and then I will ask him to repeat the last question. 那个我们先把那个老师们他们所回答的这个部分先翻译了哈。他其实这两位讲者是把这4个问题当中的这个第1点跟第3点哈，就是那个有关水价还有补助的这个部分的话呢，他一起做了这个回答。因为事实上在以色列来讲的话，他其实没有办法那么样的区分去说他是怎么样去那个平衡水价，还有他的水价跟质量之间哈是怎么样的这个平衡法。因为他们最主要的目标就是希望水价可以不要变动哈，是最好的这样的一个这个情况。所以那你如何可以做到水价不去变动的话呢？它当然就是要做事先的这个规划。那尤其是在譬如说像以色列这个地方经常会有一些大大小小不同的这样的一个这个紧急的状况发生的这个情况之下的话，当然对我们的这个供应上面来讲的话是有一些负担的。所以你为了不要去把这些负担转嫁到民众身上去的话呢，你就是要提前先去预备好说，如果我今天的话我明天会出现什么事情的话呢，我今天的成本上面会怎么样这个变动，他要预先规划好，然后他才可以去跟往上报，他在每年做预算的时候的话，他才会那个有这样的一个方案可以提交上去。那怎么样去做规划的话呢？第一个的话呢，他就是跟市政单位，因为他第一个讲者当年他在讲的时候，大家可能没有那个，可能不是对以色列的情况特别的这个了解哈。因为以色列的水公司的话，它不是供应到民众的手边的这样的一个直接供应的，它事实上是把以色列的水公司拿了水之后分给了我们市政单位，市政单位才分给水这个地方，所以以色列水公司不是直接面对民众的，他是面对的市政单位，所以他也要求市政单位他在做年度规划的时候，他要让他把可能的应急的这样的一个预算的话呢，先报上来，然后他再把它总和了之后，他才往上再报上去。所以他的这个方案的话呢，是由底下这样子弄上来的。然后他也要求底下的这个市政单位的话呢，你们要时常的去做演习啊，去做演练，然后呢要做这些规划，然后把那可能的情况的话呢，都预先想了之后，然后才呈报上来。所以他们是这样的一个做法。然后所以他在每一年的运作的时候的话，他有一定的这样的一个冗余的这部分可以去应付他未来可能出现的一些紧急的状况。所以他们基本上我在以色列这么久，他们是没有调过什么样的水啊，这个是他们真正做到的这个部分哈。然后再来的话呢，就是他有稍微提到了一下以色列的这个水价哈，以色列水很贵哈，它大概是5块美元哈一方水的这样的一个价钱哈。然后尤其是现在它有80%，以前我几年之前还是60%哈，现在已经调到80%的这个水的话，全部都是那个淡化水过来的哈，所以它的水价其实是它成本有在增加，但是我们实际上拿到的水价是没有增加的哈，所以这是他们的一个这个大功劳。然后再来的话呢，就是它那个 AI 的这个问题哈，它到底是用在什么样的地方？事实上 AI 的话是无处不在哈，这个老师回答了。那所有的部分目前来讲，他们用上的部分的话，当然就是有关水质的检测啊，或者说是管路的这个问题的这个侦测，然后再来的话就是各种异常的这个状况的这些监测，然后再来的话就是成本的这个评估，也他用这个 AI 的话呢来去那个收集这些数据，然后来做评估。所以他特别的强调就是说，你要做 AI 的话，一定要有数据哈。以色列人是数据控，他不管是在水这个地方还是在哪个领域的话，他们的目标都是收集更多的这个数据哈，是他们最主要的一个工作。所以你一定要有足够的历史数据，你的 AI 的模型的话，它才能够去做很好的这个工作哈。这个目前它是用在水质或是管路的，还有这个成本方面的这些评估上头。可是未来的话呢，它会用上在这个取代人力资源。它当然总的说起来的话，是他们 们未来的运营的方式的话呢，会有起到一个转变哈，就是因为 AI。那其实说到底的话，就是在人力的调整上头的话呢，是会出现一些变动的哈。但总之来讲的话 ，AI 是无处不在的。那当你后来他第一个讲的，他后来也补充到讲说，就是在那个 SOC 哈 SOC 就是那个应急中心这个部分的话呢，当然 AI 也会起到很大的一个作用哈。那当然最主要的还是你数据的收集跟分析这个部分哈。那当他针对我们这个提的最后一个问题哈，就是那个在那个供应标准上头来讲的话呢，我们的那个老师们他们不是特别的了解，可不可以请我们这个提问的老师在这个重新再问一次？
哦，不好意思，
我的意思哈，就是说因为我们现在政府要求我们水公司跟自来水单位来规划暂时临时救济站。那暂时临时救济站它有一些相关的不同的规模，那不同的预计的收容的人数。那我们现在是要去估，我大概准备要去估多少的每一个人大概需要多少的用水量。在假设在那个暂时的时候，那这样的话我们才会比较正确的去估算所需要的相关的一个预计要投资的费用，然后来争取政府的一个补助。大概是这样一个政府的投资或补助，大概这样的一个情况。
所以
张老师不好意思，因为我们应该时间快差不多了，然后所以可能要尽快帮我们。
没有，那个就是所以等一下我那个问题不是特别的这个了解，您是说就是救济站那边的这些标准是不是？
每一个人需要比如说2公升或3公升或几公升这样的一个概念。
Okay. So, Danny, the last question is regarding the, let's say, we call it relief center because during the emergency time that we may set up a certain station to accommodate the people in need. So what is the supply standard? Let's say how much water per person that is usually acceptable.
So yeah, sorry, we have
Danny, we still only have few minutes. We have to
close.
Yes, your answer, please.
So we have few levels of supplying water in times of crisis. On a daily basis, consumer can consume how much water they want to. Just have to pay for it. In times of crisis, we have 3 different layers. On the most critical, let's say an earthquake, it's 4 liters, 1 gallon per day for a person for 3 days. And after 3 days, we're required to supply 25 and even 30 liters per day. We have other stages that could be 25, 30 liters a day, and even 60 until 90 liters a day. It depends on the situation, but the most critical is for 3 days, 4 liters or 1 gallon per person a day. We didn't got to that point yet, never. I hope we never get there.
它其实是按照紧急的这个状况哈来这个区分的哈，但是目前为止他们都没有真正进入到极端严重的这个情况。一般来讲就是最多他们现在目前看到的话就是救济站待3天的这样的一个情况的话，一个人1天的话呢是4升水这样的一个这个配给。好，当然如果情况更严重，他需要待更久的话呢，水量会增加的哈。这个是目前的简短回答，谢谢。
Okay, so. I think we need to wrap up today's webinar, and thank you all very much. And if you have more questions, please welcome to write me the email, then I will pass your questions to Danny and Yossi. And thank you very much for Water Resource Agency, the Israel Water Authority, and the MEKOROT's participation, and all the attendees today. Thank you all, and have a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. 谢谢大家。